Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about today with the state of physical media collecting, movies, restorations, boutiques, and a general overall dissatisfaction and just sort of complaining that I am seeing from so many people in this space, in this hobby, and I just don't think it is warranted. I don't see it, and I'm going to come and talk to you about all these things from a non-emotional, trying to be unbiased standpoint. We're going to go through a lot of things here, so pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so physical media collecting, movies, is it gotten that bad? Can we just not keep up with this anymore and all this? If you're looking for me to call out any one person and stuff like that, I'm not here to do that. If you guys follow me, you know I don't do drama, and I am the probably more than any channel you are going to see on physical media, I lift other channels and promote other channels out all the time. You're going to see me talk about Brian from The Last Movie Standing, Jason from Pop Culture Mass. You're going to hear me talk all the time about Daniel from Cobwebs. You're going to hear me talk about Ken. You're going to hear me talk about at Mid-Level Media. You're going to hear me talk about CHH at Planet CHH. You are going to hear me talk about Born to Be Rad, Garrett over there. You're going to hear me talk about all of these people. Fuzz, my man Fuzz over at the original Fuzz. Jordan at the Movie Den. Everybody, man. I put people in all my videos all the time. I get their opinions. I bring people in. I promote other channels. All that kind of stuff because I wanted to be a part of a community. But at some point, sometimes somebody with a bit different perspective like I have needs to step in and kind of be like a voice of reason, maybe a grown-up in the room, kind of. So this is going to be kind of a chase talk here. I don't really know how to explain it. We got a bunch of physical media here that I'm going to talk about. This was not the video that I was planning today. You're going to get my full review on From Beyond and the Gates of Hell trilogy coming today or tomorrow. You got a big fun rankings recommendation list coming this week. You've got a triple feature review coming where I review a couple things we're going to talk about here today all in one video. The 4K reviews of Stripes, What Lies Beneath, and the Andromeda Strain. Got that video coming. So I got lots of stuff coming. Got a big summer kickoff list recommendations thing this weekend, Memorial Day, war movies, all kinds of stuff coming. But I felt like this was important to do. We have the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale that starts at midnight on Thursday. I'm doing a first ever live stream to cover that. I'm going to have my boys from the Wild Bunch, Jason and Brian, with me on there. It's going to be like my normal live streams with me starting at 11. We're going to talk and everything. Those guys are going to come in. We're going to talk about some of this same stuff. Then we're going to, of course, cover everything. But, man, there's a lot of hand-wringing going on out there. Now, I did a video a little while back about prices because everybody keeps talking about prices. Now, the prices are out of control. The prices are out of control. I actually showed you in that video that according to the Census Bureau, whatever, I forget the name of it, that deals with all this, and I'll try to link that video, proportionately with what things cost now versus what they cost 10 or 15 years ago, you are technically paying less for your movies now. I know it doesn't feel like that, and we're going to discuss a couple reasons why it doesn't feel like that, and whether or not these companies are gouging. But before I even get into all this over here and some of that stuff, I want to give a little bit of a reminder. This is from 15 years ago. This is just a studio 3D Blu-ray was $35. 15 years ago, man. 15 years ago. And yet, I hear constant complaints about something like this, What Lies Beneath from Scream Factory, a full 4K restoration with a whole new feature-length documentary with Robert Zemeckis and all this work and everything going into it, selling for $32.99 or $34.99 in 2025. This sold for that when it was nothing but a damn Blu-ray that all they had, they didn't have to go through all this process. They didn't get anything else. This sold for that 15 years ago. You want to say, fine, okay, well, that's a 3D Blu-ray. Okay, fine. How about a bare bones, just has a slipcover, Predators from 17 years ago. $30. $30. 17 years ago. $32.99. 4K restoration. All kinds of new features. Everything else. A 2-disc set. 17 years later. Basically the same price. Like, I think that we spent too much time with like that schlocky DVD bargain bin at Walmart where they threw, here, you can reach in here and grab a movie in its shittiest quality for $5. And people got it in there, oh, I could buy a bunch of, I could buy 10 movies for $50. Not like this, you couldn't. Not even like this. You can't. But I think it distorts the memory of those things and makes it seem like, oh man, they were so much cheaper. I could get infinite amount of stuff for that. No, you couldn't. 17 years ago, man, $30 for just a basic Blu-ray. It did not even have a DVD with it. It's just a Blu-ray. $30. Okay? So, all right. Now, so that's part of it. I think the old bargain bin stuff, that made it seem like stuff was so much cheaper. But you get what you pay for. And I say this over and over again. You are not going to get a custom-made tailored suit with all this hand craftsmanship and everything else. You're not going to get that for an off-the-rack suit sale price. Guys, ladies, that doesn't happen. We would all love to drive a brand new Ferrari or whatever for the price of a 1980 shitbox. It doesn't happen. You're not going to do that. And that kind of like leads me into some of the other things. When you think about this basically being the same prices as a standard Blu-ray release 17 years ago, or just a couple of dollars difference, what's really changed then? Because, proportionately, 17 years ago, that $30 was more like, and I had the numbers, maybe I can put them in here if I can find them again, but it's in the other video. That would have been more like it was $53 of buying power. And would you want to pay $53 for this? So that Predators, the equivalent would be like $53 today in your buying power. So they have actually went down. Okay. But I think the reason, part of the reason is we have the old bargain bin in our head. The other part of the reason is it's actually because you are living in a golden age of physical media. It's because there are so many options now. There are so many special options and they come out all the time. You can't keep up with it. So every month you're getting Criterion dropping something. You're getting Arrow dropping something. You're getting Vinegar Syndrome dropping something. You're getting Scream Factory, Shout Studios dropping something. You're getting all these boutiques, Kino's dropping something. They're announcing stuff right and left, way ahead of time. All this stuff, even you're getting foreign boutiques in on it now. Hammer Films, they're a boutique now. Lionsgate Limited has their own boutique. And there's more cool stuff that you want to buy that you can't keep up with. So then it feels like everything's too expensive. And it's really not. It's just you used to really just have the studio releases and you had the few boutiques. But here is the thing. Back when those movies came out, like Predators and John Carter, they weren't taking as many. The 4K wasn't a thing. So now you have a problem is a multiple fold. You have new films that are being made and coming out on 4K that you want to buy, but now you have everybody going back and restoring films to 4K. So they have an infinite library. So every month you're getting new movies coming out and you're getting old movies that are restored and made new again. So you're getting double punched both ways with movies just coming out constantly. And then because it is a collector's market, people talk out of both sides of their mouth. They don't want to pay for collectors. They don't want to pay the price for a collector's set like this, but they don't want to buy the standard either. I've heard this from a lot of people now, like, well, I don't want to pay $80 for this set of Reanimator here. Yeah, I could get the standard with a slip, has all the same discs. Yeah, I could get that for, $49.95. But if I'm going to buy it, I want to buy the big one. And I've heard this from several people. If I'm going to do it, I want to buy the big one. But I don't want to pay $80 for it. Man, that's just the way life is. I want a even nicer house than I have now, all this space, a big finished basement and everything else, but I don't want to fucking pay for it, right? So that's just life, man. You have to make your choices on what you want to spend your money on. It is not the boutique's fault, and and we're very bad about being hypocritical, because Trick or Treat came out a while back. And every collector that complains about this, complains about paying $32.99 or whatever for this, ran out and sold this bitch out instantly at $66. Why? Because it was movies they were looking for. A movie they were specifically looking for and waiting for in this cool box set with 3 different arts and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of leads into another thing. And don't worry, we'll retouch on all this stuff. That leads into another thing. I've said this from the beginning. Boutiques, let me try to be very clear. I'm not trying to be an ass here. Boutiques do not exist to fill your personal, doesn't matter who you are, your personal collection. That's not what they're here for. They are here because they love movies. They invest in trying to bring these movies up to a new... See, I'm old enough to remember the consternation when we went from VHS to DVD. I was already grown. So people had the same conversation. They just didn't have YouTube to complain about it. I'm also old enough to remember when VHS is coming out being $65, $85, $99 in the early 80s, bro, when that would have been the equivalent of a couple $100 or more today. It's never been a cheap hobby. It's never been something that's cheap. Anything worth having is not cheap. And you have to keep that in mind, because I hear over and over again, one of the biggest complaints I hear from collectors, they love to complain about Screen Factory and Shout Studios. I hear over and over again, well, all they're doing is putting out new stuff on, just putting out stuff they already put out Blu-rays of. They're just upgrading the 4Ks. Well, yeah, 4K is the next format. These movies are having to be hand restored, and they're going to be presented to you in a way you've never been able to see. Let me get that straight. Never been able to see, because for most of the time, even growing up going to the movie theaters, you saw the movie in a 2K cinema package. That's how they had to be delivered. And I'm not talking about some far-flung long time ago. My film Hollywood Nightmare that had a 3-month theatrical run in Atlanta and some art house theaters, I had to deliver in a 2K cinema package. All right. So that you're just talking about within the past 10 years. Still to this day, not every theater can even show 4K. So when they go back and do this stuff, they're making this movie in a way that you have never seen it before. So it is going to cost more, and it's changing what they've done. So I hear Scream Factory is a big offender because they're just putting out this stuff. Well, yeah, they're changing the format. When they were putting out a lot of those Blu-rays, 4K wasn't a thing, and then it wasn't a big thing. Like, I heard people complain that they did Galaxy of Terror. Galaxy of Terror came out like a decade ago, man. It was like one of the first things they did was shit. What do you want? Like, you want to see these movies in the next new format, a format that's going to continue a long time, just because now you're at the upper end of what the film quality had. So like 35 millimeter film had an inherent quality of 5.2, 5.6, some of it may be 6K, depending on the film stock. So we're already at the upper end of that. Somebody might do an 8K something one day because you can scan in 8K, but it's never going to be true 8K. And you're talking about discs would have to be back old school laser disc size in order to do that. So that's not coming anytime soon. All right. If ever. And in the meantime, what do they have to do? Should they have never changed movies from VHS to DVD or DVD to Blu-ray? Now you're complaining because they're 4K, but then I'll hear because they're changing from Blu-ray to 4K and something you already had a Blu-ray of. Y'all, that's really not their problem. Like, if you ran out and collected everything in the old format, it's no different than you bought a brand new car and 10 years later you've paid it off, or 5 years, 6 years later you've paid it off, and now there's a new, better model. That's just how life works. So I say all the time, and we'll get into how to alleviate this, I don't hoard titles for that reason right there. But you can't complain about because this is what happens too. You complain about companies just upgrading things from Blu-ray to 4K. But then when they put out a movie like What Lies Beneath, or Andromeda Strain, or Andromeda Strain may have had a Blu-ray with Arrow before, but you put out something like What Lies Beneath or Alexander or something like that they didn't have a Blu-ray of before. That movie sucks. I don't want that movie. Who cares about that movie? Just because you personally don't like it, they can't win. They cannot win. It's the same thing with Vinegar Syndrome, y'all. Vinegar Syndrome fans and people complain, why'd they put out The Golden Child? The Golden Child is too big of a title. It's stupid. I don't like it. Blah, blah, blah. They have to keep the lights on with some bigger titles, because with that and stuff like Showgirls, and when they put out something like Six String Samurai, then these little tiny group of hardcore fans, maybe they're happy about it, but then you laugh at them, you mock them, everything else, because they're basically trying to give the damn thing away a year or two later. See, they can't operate that way. They are a business. So when it comes to that, a lot of you who follow me know that I have been wanting to acquire some film licenses and do 4K restorations and have a small boutique myself. Well, somebody like Ignite Films is the model of that. Besides, I have an MBA to go along with everything else, but that's totally damn irrelevant. All it means is that I had access to and ability to talk to people and run business models. I have stopped trying to acquire 4K licenses for right now and just worry about my movies because the hand wringing that went on over this movie right here and some others, like The Beyond, I have it setting right here. So both of these movies, The Beyond had a price point of like $66, okay? And this had a price point with this big, with all the bells and whistles of $79.95. Guess what? When you run the business models on this, when you factor in the cost of acquiring a license, when you factor in restoring the film, having all this stuff done to it, any extra features, packaging, pressing, all this kind of stuff, in order to have a profit, to sustain profitability and a company as a small boutique that's basically acquiring one or two titles at a time, guess what? You have to be at around $45 to $50 for a standard and with just a slip. And you have to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 80 bucks on a big set like this, depending on what you put in it. Depending on what 60 is pushing it. You are going to make barely enough to cover your costs and have anything, but you're not going to be able to get anything to invest in a future film. 65 gives you a little more breathing room. 75, when you go, it depends on what kind of, like, if you want the best, you got to pay for the best. This was scanned on the best scanner that exists on planet Earth. That costs more money. So, it depends, but I found out I have to be right at that price point. So no, they're not gouging you. They're just not a big corporation. So they can't do in bulk. They don't have unlimited money backing them. So that put me off. The community reaction to it, despite the insane quality of these and the support from the people, like they got the composer back, the actresses, the actor, they got everybody. They got Barbara Crampton, Jeffrey Combs, Brian Usna, all that stuff involved in this, and everybody like, oh, $79, fuck that. Like, we'll buy the standard for $49.95 because guess what? Let me tell you a little bit about how this works business-wise. If you don't support companies like this, the small business companies, and I'm very partial to them because I've ran a small, production company, and my mom is a small business owner, so I totally get it. If you don't support the small businesses doing this high-end, over-the-top good work, you will be stuck with only the studios and a couple of the biggest big boys and boutiques. And then guess what? They can charge whatever they want. If you take away competition, they can charge whatever they want. The guy from Kino was on with somebody recently. I forget who it was. I was told about it. And he said they used to be able to get away with more. Now they're being able to get away with less because people like us are calling them on it if they try to get away with less, because they're being compared to these other upstarts and these other people who are raising the bar up. If that goes away, so does everything that goes with it. Because right now, Kino's still charging you $30 for copy paste art, nothing special. A lot of the times they don't do full restorations. They don't even buy full restorations anymore. Doesn't mean some of the stuff can't look great. It's just they are not putting in a fraction of the effort of this, y'all. They are not. And it's $30. So if you don't support these things, they'll go away, and then you'll be at the mercy of just the studios and the big 3 or 4, and that'll be all you got. And there won't be anything to hold them to a standard because there's nobody pushing them. There will just be us out there shouting, and they'll be like, yeah, you got to buy it from here because nobody else is doing it. So I see people cutting off their nose to spite their face. I also think it changes your perspective if you get a lot of, and I'm not calling anybody out here because a lot of people get review copies and stuff. But if you're used to not having to pay for as much stuff, then things can seem more expensive when you got to pay for them. That's just life. But you can look at it and say, you know, all right, I'm blessed enough to get a bunch of stuff. You know, when I have to pay for something, you know, and like, I mean, I'm not, I said I won't call anybody out. I saw Serial at Midnight. I don't watch him frequently. It popped up on my TV. He gets everything from everybody free, apparently. But he's kind of turning his back on physical media and stuff a little bit. And he was talking about complaining about the price of stripes, saying it was $50. No, it's not. You can go buy this right now on Orbit for it's like either $36.99 or $38.99. And we know from the Lionsgate guy, I think he did the interview with Jake at Steelbook Obsessed. It cost them around $4 to produce just the Steelbook itself, nothing else with it. So, and sometimes it could be more. So, no, it's not. Like, it's not 50. I mean, we kind of dealt with the same thing. Like, before they ever announced the price of Tombstone, negativity just jumped in. It's going to be $65, $75. It was $41. It came out at $41. If you didn't buy it and you're trying to go aftermarket or whatever, maybe it went up. But people say, well, this shouldn't be limited. It should be whatever. Well, okay. I can get behind that a little bit. It's coming from a studio. It shouldn't be limited. But guess what happens when they don't limit it at all? They take a risk on money. So that's going to raise the price up because they're risking money by printing them all. So that's going to raise your cost up. And then you get people say things like, well, it's going to be there 6 months from now, a year from now. I don't have to rush to buy it. So then they're waiting 2 years, 3 years, whatever, to recoup their prices. And now, since they're not recouping that, they're reading that as a lack of interest, and they're not going to invest more money in doing more 4Ks. Do you understand how that works? It's supply and demand. Like, they see the demand is there, but if they flood out there with too much supply, they've got too much money invested in it, and you will wait. You will wait and not buy it. And so then they don't have the capital to put into the next thing, and they read it as you uninterested. Do you see how that works? So, you know, everything is not somebody back there twisting their mustache looking for a way to screw you over with like high prices. It's simple economics at some point. And you have to take that into consideration. And there's just so much negativity. Like this box set right here from Paramount Scares, Paramount Screams, whatever it is. I banged the drum on this when it came out because I didn't think when it came out, I was like, man, it's like $60. That's like $15 a 4K or whatever, plus all this packaging because there's 4 4Ks in it. Then it went on sale for like $40 and people still complained. And this has Breakdown in it, which had a long out of print Blu-ray that was super expensive. It has Friday the 13th Part 2, which is one of maybe the 10 best 4Ks I've ever seen in my life. And yet with all this packaging and everything else, people are like, they're not supporting it. So now we don't know if there's going to be a volume 3 because people didn't support it. It's got all this cool packaging, new commissioned artwork, all that kind of stuff, all these pins and stickers, a dedicated Fangoria magazine, all that kind of stuff for $40, a poster, all that stuff. You basically got $60 was a good deal. $40 is insane. And yet people complained that it was stupid, that they didn't get standalones. The fuck, man? Like, a standalone 4K could easily be $35 for the one 4K. And you're going to complain about $40 for a whole box with 4 4Ks and all the bells and whistles? Literally, these people cannot win. And as somebody on the other side, business-wise, I'm like, they can't win. And like for the Reanimator, for the standard, it's $49.95. And people are like, $49.95. Completely absurd. Small company. That's why you don't see Scream Factory, Shout Studios. They don't charge $49.95 for a brand new 4K just with a slipcover. They can afford to do more. They're bigger. But these come out $40 from Vinegar Syndrome. Side loader, gonna be $45 or $50, right? And nobody really says shit about it. And I love Vinegar Syndrome, but like, it's like, oh no, they're a new guy. They shouldn't be charging that. Well, the new guy can't afford it. But then you go back to Scream Factory and people bitch, oh, well, they just put out Night of the Creeps again. I have the Blu-ray of that. That's stupid. Man, we're trying to change these movies to the best format possible. If you ran out and collected every Blu-ray and you were a completionist, I get it. It sucks. You own the movie. That doesn't have anything to do with the overall bigger aspect of collecting. It doesn't have anything to do with the prices. It just has you stuck because you own all those movies. And at the time, Scream Factory, they couldn't have known what every 4K was coming. Hell, when they were putting out some of those Blu-rays, 4K wasn't a thing yet. So they couldn't have known. And now they're trying to move everyone to the 4K market and give us these movies in a way we've never seen. It's just really not something they can control, that you were a completionist and a collector and you bought all of their Blu-rays and you have all the movies, and now you're stuck wanting the 4K, but not wanting to pay for it because you already have the movie on Blu-ray. So what do? You bitch and complain and say collecting has changed and it's not fun and I'm having to step back from it and all this kind of stuff. It has nothing to do with the actual collecting and everything else. It's the pain of you completed your set, you got all of these, and now you really want them on the best format, but you just don't want to pay for them because you already got them, which is understandable, but you can't project your specific situation, your specific feelings on the thing as a whole, because there's hopefully hundreds of thousands of people who are coming into collecting every day that don't have that problem. So they can't just cater to you. But then when they try to cater to you by also putting out things that never had a Blu-ray before with them, you're like, yeah, but that movie sucks. I don't want it. So what the hell are they supposed to do? They can't win with you. They can't win. And Scream Factory does probably the second best restorations out there behind Vinegar Syndrome, and it's close on Vinegar. Like they are close to Vinegar Syndrome. Like those are the two at the top. Everybody talks about Arrow's encodes. I went into the whole thing about an encode. Encode doesn't do what you think it is, and Arrow's has been up and down lately. And I love Arrow, but they have been up and down lately. They don't consistently stay at the 4K quality of Shout Studios, Scream Factory, same company, and Vinegar Syndrome. And then when you come in with the studios, Lionsgate does some great work. Paramount, man, some of this from Paramount blow your mind. And Sony, I mean, Sony does great work, but they you complain that they put out stuff on 4K that you already got on Blu-ray, but then when they put something new out, I'll wait on it. I don't need that. It's a super movie. Who wants that? Who asked for that? Again, just because you don't want it, like this might be somebody's favorite movie. It's Zemeckis. It's Harrison Ford. It's Michelle Pfeiffer. It's not my favorite of Harrison Ford movies. He's my favorite actor. Actually, I'll get into that on the review. But it's relative, and it's not people start getting caught up in these hype trains, negative or positive, and sometimes you have to step back and be like a voice of reason and look at it like a responsible adult and be like, you know what? A Blu-ray was $30 or $35 15, 17 years ago when they weren't doing all this stuff to it. And it was coming from a major studio. I can still buy a fully restored 4K with all the bells and whistles, new feature length documentaries and interviews with the directors and stuff like that, like Robert Zemeckis level, Oliver Stone level. I can go and do all that kind of stuff and still pay $32.99, $34.99, 15 or 17 years later. But I think a lot of it is a lot of people have these movies on Blu-ray and they want to buy them on the 4K versions and they want the special bells and whistle versions, but they don't want to spend the money. And that's just a constant thing of life. Like, you have them, and so what do? You lash out at the company that's charging $65 for it because you really want it in your heart, but you don't want to pay that money for it because you're an adult and you already own it and you're aggravated about it. That's what it really is. It's not the companies, it's not the prices, everything else. You get what you pay for. It's that you've invested all this money into these other formats, and that format is not the top format anymore. You're moving on to something that's higher end, that has a higher end packaging, a higher end delivery, more bells and whistles, and you want it, you just don't want to have to pay for it because you've already paid for something. So it skews your perception of it. And then you top that off with so much is coming out that it's hard to keep up with. So if you spend, you buy, let's say you go over at Vinegar Syndrome on this sale and you buy the VSU of Golden Child for $45 and you buy a couple of side slip loaders for $45 a piece and you've dropped $135 already. And then here comes Scream Factory putting out 5 4Ks. And then here comes Arrow with 3 box sets that you want. And suddenly it's like $400 for the month. Again, not their fault. They're delivering what people are asking for. It just sucks because, not everybody can afford $400, $500 or more a month in movies. And the limited nature of them makes you feel like you got to get them right now because of FOMO. And in some cases, it's true. And if you don't support and you don't buy, then they don't do more. So I get it, but it's like a problem that's coming from a good thing. The good thing is we have all of these companies doing this. The bad thing is you can't keep up with buying them. And then some stuff you've already bought and you're like, damn it, I really, 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 really want Reanimator. But I have the Blu-ray from Arrow, which is actually not a 4K restoration. Ignite contacted me. I caught that on the thing. It says it's a 4K restoration on the back. It is not. They just scanned an HD scan on a 4K scanner back in the day. That's why it's got scratches and all that stuff. Check out my video on it. But you're like, man, I got the Blu-ray. I really want that 4K, but I don't want to spend the money for it. And if I am going to get it, I want to go full meal deal and get the $80 version, the $79.95 instead of the $49.95 with the slip. But I really don't want to pay that. So it's not that they're overpriced. It's just that you don't want to have to pay it. You want the thing. And I keep hearing, well, it'll go on sale. Not necessarily. These boutiques, these very small boutiques. Ignite, I think, finally put out one of their first 2 films on Amazon, but it was just a slipcover. I don't know that you're going to see this there. But, and if you do, it probably won't be cheaper. So you don't want to spend it, but you really want the cool thing. Like, it's sort of like, you can go and buy a base model of a car, but you'd rather have the one that has leather seats, heated steering wheel, premium wheels, premium sound system, yada, yada, yada. You just hate the price tag that comes along with it. That's not the manufacturer's fault. That's not the company's fault. That's just you fighting with yourself over wants versus needs. And that's something else. We don't need that on 4K. We don't need this. We don't need any of this. This is the toy store, toy aisle of life. We don't need any of this. We want it. So we got to scrap we don't need that on 4K. We don't need this. We don't need that, because it's never about need. You don't need any of this. This is all stuff that we want. So I don't know, y'all. I just had a lot to think about. And negativity is going to kill us. It will kill you. It will kill all of us. And a lot of stuff that I hear, it comes from a very selfish, personal perspective, but it's being projected out onto everyone, and that can hurt physical media. Your own thoughts, I get it. You're a completionist. You bought all the Scream Factory stuff. Now they're upgrading a lot of that to 4K. 4K is the wave of the future. That's just how it is. It's going to be the best quality that you've ever seen, and the best quality you've ever seen in the movie. It sucks because I know you want it, and you say you want it, but you don't want to pay for it because you already got the blue. That's totally on you. Real quick, the way I alleviate that is sell the motherfucking thing or trade it. Get it out of your house and get space and money to buy the 4K if that's what you want. Make it happen, but stop complaining about it because you really want it. You just don't want to pay for it because you've already got another version, or you really want it, but if you're going to get it, you only want the biggest version, and you're going to, forego buying it altogether because you won't get, again, that's not on the company. And that is totally you, but you are projecting that out like it is a common thing with everyone, and it's something, and it's the fault of the boutiques and the people making the movies. It is not their fault. They are a business. They are here to give you the best quality and make money and keep moving forward. That's why I say move your collection forward. If I'm never going to watch something multiple times, or if I'm going to get a 4K of it, if the blue or the DVD doesn't have something on it that is separate, then I will get rid of it or consolidate it down. I've got all my DVDs in cases, in like basically a CD Logic that holds their artwork and everything else. I still got them, but now they take up a fraction of the space. And if I don't like a 4K that I blind buy, I sell it and move it on. Hoarding it and complaining about space and shit, that doesn't help either, and that's not their fault either. So I'm not calling anyone out here. I love everyone out there. Like, I want people to have a positive mindset, and it's just not, if I'll tell you too, if you started and you're a blue tuber or whatever, what did I say from the very first video that I came on here? I said, we do it all here. 4K reviews, hauls, physical media news, lists, rankings, reviews, because I love it all. It contributes to your burnout if all your channel does, for the most part, is say, I got these 3 movies today. Let me open them. Let me show you what they are. Let me talk about them for a minute. If that's all your channel is showing stuff off, then it gets real old rebuying stuff. But that's again, not their fault. That's just the setup of your channel. So do some more stuff. Have some more fun. Expand your film knowledge. All that kind of stuff. There's lots of things to do if you have the ability and the knowledge, and it will help keep you from being burned out. Because if I was just doing haul videos and unboxing and this is what I got and everything else, I'd go nuts, y'all. I'd go nuts because I like everything about movies and physical media. So I want you to do that too. I want you to enjoy everything there is about it and help us spread this and grow this hobby and this community. Because all the negativity, the whining and crying, people who are new to it, that we're trying to bring in, they click on these videos and they see that and they're like, look, that guy's look at all the movies he's got and he's even bitching about it. Why would I ever start collecting? Look at this chick. She gets all this stuff for free. Or look at this chick. She's got all this and it looks super cool. Look at this guy. He's got all this, but yet it looks so awesome, but they just seem unhappy. All they do is complain about it. Why would I want to get into that? You have to be careful. People, that we have power here. There's reach. So, when people start printing things like, if they only made 12,000 of these, and I've got 16,000 subscribers, and Ken's got 35,000, and CH has got 35,000, and this guy's got 33,000, and this guy's got 10,000, or y'all, we affect the sales of this stuff big time. So your own personal negativity about your own situation being projected out there onto everything else when it's kind of unfounded and it just sounds like you're talking out of your ass because you're angry that you want to buy something but you don't want to buy it. Do the numbers. Go run the numbers. Go pay to have it done. Have it studied like I did. Go have it studied and you will find out the reality of it and spread the positivity. I'm not saying you got to come on here and be sunshine and rainbows, because when people mess up or they cut corners, I hold them to the fire because I want this to grow, and it doesn't grow if we have bad quality. But when there's good quality and there's good work and there's heart and there's love and everything else being put into stuff, I am going to go out of my way to support that because that is what I respect. I respect hard work, I respect dedication, and I respect heart and soul and love and passion going into something. And I'm not just going to sit back and bitch and moan because they just gave me something that I really loved, but I already got the Blu-ray and I really don't want to pay that for it. It's all relative, because then something comes out that you've been wanting and you go and buy 2 copies of it, of the same movie or something. So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth like that. You can, but you're projecting your own thing onto the whole hobby, onto this whole thing, and that can hurt everyone and hurt the hobby growth and the future of physical media, and that's not cool. So just think about it. And I love everybody out there, man. Be a community. We're going to have an awesome live stream on Thursday night to talk about some of this stuff heading into the Vinegar Syndrome big halfway to Black Friday sale. Thursday night at 11 p.m. We are going to come on. That is Thursday the 22nd. We're going to come on at 11 p.m. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. Talk about what might be announced. Get in there. Talk about Chase's Targets, all that stuff. Lots of videos coming up. And y'all, I love you. I hope you have fun. Watch some movies. Enjoy some movies. And that's what I got for you this time. And if you enjoyed this, very different, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. If you want to support this idea, this concept, this feeling of what we do here on 4K reviews, physical media news, discussions like this, lists, recommendations, big rankings lists and stuff that I love doing, you can join the channel at my YouTube link below, or you can become a Patreon member, which I would encourage because everything can be uncensored over there, and it's a whole other ball game. And until next time, y'all, I love you. Watch some movies, and be kind, rewind like I always, man. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.